Hello and welcome back. I'm so glad you're here. This Mind, Body, Soul Mastery podcast is a place where we explore what it really means to live with intention, to lead from the heart, and to walk through life with a deeper connection to mind, body, and soul. Whether I'm sitting down with a guest or just sharing what I'm learning in real time, my hope is that you'll hear something that invites you back to yourself. So take a deep breath and let's drop in to today's conversation. And this is part 2 of my grief and growth series. And this one is really all about from this perspective of why me to what is this for? How is this for me? This question can really begin to shift your perspective in huge ways and change the way you experience the messy and challenging that comes. Now, friend, please know that why me is an honest starting place. I think it's very typical for everyone to start in this why me place. I know I did. But with time and with learning and healing, so much healing, this spiritual journey that I've been on flipped this why me to what is this for? How is this for me? And as I said, my first question in so many things of messy and challenging life was, why is this happening to me? Like, why is this happening? What did I do wrong? Blame myself, right? And especially after loss, it is so easy for people to sit in this, why did this have to happen? Why him? Why her? Why at such a young age? They never got to XYZ, right? It's so easy to ask those questions. And I think it's very human to ask those questions. I think it's a very much a human reflex in the face of pain and uncertainty to ask those questions. I know that for me, when I asked those questions too, I noticed that it was also keeping the suffering alive. In my healing journey that started before my son died, I had already begun to shift out of this to me and this suffering stage into, okay, how can I look at what's happening, this messy situation, and how is it for me? And because I had been doing that deep inner work before Ian died, I didn't live in that question, why me? Why him? Why at the age of 20? Because I had already begun to understand that life was happening for me. The messy and the challenging things that were in my life that didn't make sense, there were things in it for me. Ways to grow, ways to change the way I thought about something, ways to change the way I saw something. Open, expanded, open mind awareness. And so I will honestly say this shift of for me versus to me, it didn't take away my pain, but it did give me something to anchor into. What in this is for me? And that helped me hold my grief with presence. I wasn't resisting, and I definitely wasn't staying stuck in the suffering. So if you find yourself in that place when the messy and the challenge or even the loss comes, why did this effing happen to me? Why does it always happen to me? This is always what happens to me. My life is always like this, right? Those are some key phrases. If you find yourself saying, you might want to stop and reframe. And it's in those moments that I invite you to consider, what if this was happening for you? What is there to teach or open me to? Again, this doesn't erase the pain, but it does provide some reframe, some context, some direction, some possibility. And instead of asking questions that you will probably never get the answer to, why me? Why did this happen to him? Why he's too young, la la la, whatever it is. Sometimes those why questions will never be answered. But when we flip to, okay, so what if this is happening for me? What if this is here to teach me or open me to something else? That reframe is full of possibility. Grief is really constant in my life after losing a child, but also all the ways in my life there's been loss, a constant part of me. And when the messy and challenging comes, or when the loss comes again, or the unmet expectation comes again, reframing those moments can look like this. So if you're in a safe place, do not do this if you're driving and listening at the same time. But if you're in a safe place, quiet by yourself, I want you to close your eyes for a moment and listen to these questions and just notice in your body what stirs. What is this showing me about myself? What part of me is still standing, even in this? What part of me is asking to be accepted, not fixed? Is there something I haven't let myself feel yet? What's quietly holding me together today, even if my life is messy? What can I let go of, even for now, so I can just be how I am? Remember, this isn't about solving. It's about allowing space for new awareness. It's allowing your body and soul, because when your mind asks those questions focused on your heart and allowing your heart to answer, many times it's that first thing that comes up that's your truth. So if any of these questions stirred something within you and something popped up, please write it down. The question and what popped up, write it down. Don't judge it. Don't try to deny it. Just write it down. Accept it as, my body and my soul, my truth was presenting itself. My truth showed up for me. And then I want to say too, well done for allowing space and new awareness. This is a way that you can begin to embody and integrate a reframe into your life that truly does begin to shift little bits, time after time, piece after piece, into at one point you'll realize you're leaning into every messy and challenging with this reframe, this perspective of, okay, what about this is for me? Because there's something, no matter how messy, how devastating, how ugly, how heartbreaking it is. There's something in it for you. And I also want to say, don't rush past your grief. Don't try to bypass your grief with this. Allow the grief, the moments to come. Allow the tears to fall. When it comes, let it move. Let it breathe. And then when you're ready, let it teach. By then asking, okay, what about this was for me? So as I've mentioned, you can write it out. Something came to you, or in that moment, something comes to you, you can write it out. But remember, no filter and no judgment. Don't cross everything out. Don't rewrite it because it sounds messy or judgy or whatever. Let it out. You can also go take a long walk and just allow the tears to fall. Tears are such a healing release. And also sharing with someone who can truly hold space, who can truly hold the depth of your emotion in a listening manner without trying to fix it. Friend, those are gold. Those are gold. And look for those people in your life. I'm sure there's one or two. And if there's not, always know that you can reach out to me. I can hold space for your pain. It's what I do all the time with my clients. And so another thing that you can do is just place your hand on your heart, breathe in. And as you breathe out, say to yourself maybe one of these phrases: I'm allowed to be exactly as I am today. Or, this hurts and I'm here with it. Or maybe it's simply, one breath at a time is enough. Friend, there's no right one. Simply choose the one that helps you feel less alone with it. Avoiding grief locks it inside. And friend, when we lock our grief inside, it's going to begin to show up in physical manifestations of our body, our health, our mobility, our longevity. And so when we can meet grief gently, acknowledge, accept, be with it, that's how we can gently help grief move through so that it does not become stuck and stagnant within our physical bodies. So much of life is messy, and pain cracks us open. Yet it's not cracking us open to punish us, but to reveal. And transformation begins when we can meet that pain, that messy, with curiosity. To put it differently, when we meet that pain with curiosity rather than closing ourselves off to it, we begin to make space for healing, even if it is slow. So remember, your questions are not failures. They're openings. And they allow the mind, the body, the soul to reframe, to look at things differently, to come at something with curiosity rather than judgment. They're powerful, transformative opportunities. If something in these words stirred something within you, let that be your invitation to pause, to reflect, and ask yourself, what part of this was for me? You might want to journal or speak it out loud with someone who truly sees you, just like I've offered in this conversation. And if you're feeling the nudge to explore your own healing or step more fully into your truth, I'd love to walk beside you in that process. You'll find all the ways to connect with me in the show notes. If you'd like to hear more of my story of losing my adult son, I've linked a conversation I had on the Elise Morgan Experience, where I talked about Ian's death, the layers of grief, and how I found my way forward through it. Until next time, be gentle with your heart. You're allowed to feel it all, every single bit. That's the human experience. That's what we're living for. One of the things we're living for. Until next time, this is Brenda Staat-Tomlinson, the Mind, Body, Soul Mastery Podcast.